year, because Doha, everything was so late.
Yeah.
Like I think most of my rounds were, well, I did one, but the thing was at like 8. So all my training going into it was in the evening. So I found that really hard because I had
to try and adapt to your condition
how it's going to be out there. So all day I was just kind of waiting around for the session. Whereas if you get your session over and done with, it's like, I've got the rest of the day to do everything I need to do. So I think I prefer the morning, but I probably should start getting towards the evenings a bit more.
Okay, well, I suppose it helps because at least you know which one your body's going to prefer at that time.
Yeah.
How hot was it in training in Doha?
It's like, it's the maddest heat ever.
And the whole air conditioning thing in the stadium. Like, I want to hear about that because I heard there was a lot of, some people were loving it, some people were hating it. What was your take?
So it wasn't really the heat that was that bad. Like, it was more the humidity. So as soon as you stepped outside, you would just feel it instantly. You couldn't just like wait around outside. If it's like waiting for a taxi or whatever, 5 minutes, you'd be done. Like, that was too much to stand in it on that heat. But the thing is, what they did well was they had an indoor track where you could warm up. So I did all my training and warm up indoors. Then you'd go outside for like 5 minutes to walk to the call room, get in the call room, which is all air conditioned, get to the stadium, it's air conditioned. So there was not one point I was like, oh, I'm too hot, I've lost my energy. Like, they actually did that really well.
Were they far apart in terms of like the warm-up area call room to the stadium? Was it far apart or were they quite close?
Pretty close. I mean, it's, about a 5-minute walk between the warm-up and the call room. So
by the time you get, oh my God, I'm so hot.
Yeah.
Someone get me a towel.
Honestly. Training wasn't fun though, because we had our training camp in Dubai, and that was so hot. Like, I was not expecting it. Like, even though our sessions were all in the evening, we get to track about 6, and still by then it was, after like a lap, you're
just dying. Like, someone get my water now. I need an asthma pump. They're just dying.
I felt so bad for the endurance runners. They had like ice towels on them.
They pretty much have to like go outside. Like, where would they train?
You know when you think to yourself, it's hot indoors, I'm gonna walk outside and cool down. It's like the complete opposite. It's like, no, I'm gonna go inside and sit down and try and avoid going outside for the next.
That's why like people just go to the malls in Dubai. You just like
just
literally
that's all you can do.
Go from your house in the car, mall. You literally don't walk outside at all.
Crazy.
In your spare time while you was out there, like what did you do? Like, when you weren't training, obviously I assume you've got friends like within the team and stuff. So how did you guys spend your time?
Nothing too exciting, to be honest. I think just like catching up, chatting, reading. I mean, the hard thing about training in the evenings and competing in the evenings is that you can't waste too much energy in the day. So a lot of napping. I think meal times is when everyone's like getting to meal times, and that's when you like chat for ages, because that's when there wasn't really a space where you could just kind of like chill together. So at meal times, people would be sat there for ages and chatting. So nothing too exciting.
So another topic would be the crowd in Dubai. In Doha.
In
Doha. What was that like for your experience? Obviously, we've seen what the media said, and we were watching it on TV as well. But how did you find that?
So for my event, I kind of got out. I think I was on the first day, so got out there, and usually if it's the first day, first session, it's not going to be packed anyway. Qualifying rounds, no one's really that interested in it. So I was like, okay, fair enough. I wasn't expecting a big crowd, so that was fine. It's more qualifying. It's just, you just focus on the event, get your job done, and then the finals when you then hope for that atmosphere. So I kind of didn't really think much about it. And then the next day, when the hundreds were on, I was like, the crowd is still empty. Like, where is everyone? And then obviously for the final, there was still no one. And it was weird because I spoke to a few people who were in Doha, and I was like, are you gonna go and watch the championships? And they're like, can't get there. I was like, oh, okay, why? They're like, the traffic's too bad. And I just thought, it's just so strange. I was like, people from their own country can't go and watch the championships because the traffic's too bad around the stadium, but there was no one in this. Like, it just didn't, like, nothing was adding up. It was just weird.
They probably boarded off like a lot of roads leading
they
to
must
it.
have
So
done.
they were like, well, if I've got a part 2 miles away from
I'm
the
not
track.
doing that.
I ain't walking 2 miles from my car in this heat.
In that heat as well.
That's
No.
I mean, that might be a thing. That actually might be
Yeah.
why it was. And then when they realized, okay, right, we're not
need
making
to get
any
people in there.
sales, let's just open it up. And
Yeah.
but then I'd assume that a stadium that big would have a car park.
Like on the ground or something.
Yeah.
But then they might want to keep that space for the athletes.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just weird. Like everything else around the championships was, I think, quite well done. Maybe apart from like the timings, events and stuff, but the organisation wise was quite good. But yeah, having no one in the stadium was weird because you didn't really feel the impact of the event. So when I was there, obviously it was World Championships, huge, but with no one there, no one's really taking much interest in it. It's weird. And then I came home. I came home early, and I came home when the heptathlon was on.
Yeah.
And saw how big it was over here. Like it was on all the newspapers.
Yeah.
Like BBC coverage was so good, and the stadium started filling up. And I was like, okay, now it's the World Championships. Like it's so weird. The first half was like, oh, this is like end of season kind of competition that's going out. And then by the time the end championships, it was amazing. So
Yeah, because I mean, it was literally like from the 3rd or 4th day onwards
yeah,
that it started to fill up, and then by the last day it was like, oh, so
started.
there are people here.
Yeah.
So maybe we could like somehow reverse time and just pull these people back to the beginning and then hold it the whole way through. That would have been so much better. But I mean, I suppose it was a bit of a downer at the beginning, but track and field has that.
Did you go and see any events yourself?
So I was out there for, I think it was the men's triple jump and the women's pole vault was on at the same time. I think that was like a couple of days after I competed. And it was empty, like still empty. And they wouldn't let us get to the other side of the stadium where the triple jump was. So everyone was trying to like crowd around and get to watch the triple jump because like there was nothing else on.
Oh yeah.
And so we were like, okay, try and snuck down to where like the media zone was, and Mike Powell was there, and it was like empty, and they asked Mike Powell to move. We're like, how are you asking Mike, the world record holder, to move from an empty seat into another empty seat? Like it made no sense.
Because they probably didn't realize who he was. But
No,
then
true.
I was gonna say, like, as an athlete, do you have seats allocated where you can sit, or is it just, you know?
You do, but I think with like usually, so when was it in London? Like it was full every single day, and you had allocated seats. And to be fair, it was quite hard to kind of get around if you didn't want to sit there and move somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like a few people could do it, but it was hard to get like masses of people around. So that's fair enough. But when it's an empty stadium and you're trying to get into a different block, it's like it shouldn't really be that difficult. But
when I'm stepping in, 30 bottles of Zoom till I'm sentimental. I had to